guys, it's Ashley, your scrapping nerd, and I'm back today using a cut file from the 31 Days of Cut Files with MK and Janet, and I'm using the cut file from day 11. And I pulled out some Nuvo drops. I pulled out the Woodland Green and Moroccan Red, but I actually only used the Moroccan Red. I didn't use the Woodland Green. And then I pulled out Distress Oxide in the Rustic Wilderness and the Forest Moss. And all of my papers and ephemera are P13 Summer Vibes. And it's so cute, this little collection here. And so all of the ephemera, even the little cut aparts that I cut from the sheet, it's all the P13. And I just love it. And so I pulled out 4 papers here, and this one's gonna be my background. And it's funny, it has a little surfer girl, but you're not gonna see that once I put all of my layers on. And like I said, I love this paper, so you're gonna see I'm gonna strategically cut my layers that I'm going to use, the papers I'm going to use, so that I can keep the scraps and use it for other things. And so here I'm just trying to lay out which order of the papers I want. And so I'm going to cut this one. You can see the bottom has that kind of the drinks and the watermelon. It's weird it has the waffles, but other than that, so I'm going to cut that so that I could use that on another page. But I'm going to use these pink polka dots, and I decided to do the pink, like I kept going back and forth about it and just using the 2 other green layers, but in the end it pulls it together because some of the florals I use is pink, and then I have a couple pink roses in my bouquet there, and then in the picture it's my husband and my best friend and I, and she's wearing a pink dress. And so it all works out in the end, but in the beginning I had to trust the process and go with it because I kept going back and forth about the pink polka dots. But I'm still getting all of my layers cut, making sure that I can save the pieces that I like to use for another time. This next page, no, it was the last one. I had the VW bus on the back, and I cut it so I could use that. I just am longing, I guess is the word, for a VW bus. Like, it is my dream car. Maybe people like Corvettes or they like, fancy vehicles. I just want a VW bus. But they are so hard to find at like decent prices. And I try to harass my husband because he's a mechanic, and I'm always like, we can get one that needs work because I know a good mechanic, but I'll keep working on him. We'll see if I get there. But that's probably why I love this collection so much, because the little VW buses, they even have the wood element is a VW bus, and I just don't know what I'm going to use it on yet, but I love it. But anyways, I'm going to get started on this cut file. Like I said, it was a day 11 cut file. And week 2 was Janet Fritz of Galaxy Girl Creations. This is her cut file. And I'm just gonna use some of the Rustic Wilderness and ink it up. And I had to be really careful so I didn't rip the little leaves off. So I'm just gently inking them. And then I'm gonna use that Forest Moss and just ink the edges. And it just helps to kind of pull the leaves off the page and differentiates them from the background. And so because it's Distress Oxide, I sprayed it with some water and used a towel to pull some of it up. So it gives it a little bit of dimension and a little distressed, because I am going to distress all of my layers here, and I heavily distress them. So I used the Tim Holtz distress tool, and I went back and forth a lot just to really distress those layers. I I don't really like when it's just a straight line on there. So I really like distressing them, and I think it just adds to my layers. And then I thought my photo kind of blended in, so I pulled out just some scraps that I had to mat the photo to bring it up off the background, and I thought I'd throw in some vellum. I rarely use vellum on my layouts, and I have a bunch of it, so I wanted to throw a piece in here. Like I said, this layout, I just wanted to add a bunch of layers, and I was trying to do it a little haphazardly, but you know how I am. I'm a little more perfectionist, so it's like, yes, these are some haphazard layers, but they're perfectly placed where I want them. It's very strange, but so I got the photo mats on the photo, and then I pulled in this beautiful cut file, and I'm just going to run it along the bottom, kind of like a shelf for my photo to sit on. And here, see, I'm still trying to perfectly make my layers look like they're haphazardly laid down, and I fiddled with that a lot. I cut out a bunch of it because you guys don't need to see the crazy. And so here I am putting the vellum behind there, and you can't really see it until I put that burlap paper behind it. No, it's not paper, but you know, it's like a burlap 12 by 12 behind there. And I'm going to cut the burlap to be a little bit bigger than the photo, and I'm going to use some tape to put along the edges because I want to fray the edges of the burlap, and so I don't want it to come apart. So I'm just going to use this tape and put it all around the edge so that when I fray it, it'll help stop the fraying from continuing on, and it'll also help when I stick the burlap down to hold it. And so here you can see I'm just pulling those pieces off so that it makes the edges frayed. And I think this, because I don't think I said in the beginning, but this like burlap 12 by 12, I think came from Hobby Lobby. And I had this lighter white one, and I also have an actual burlap color. So I'm glad to get these used up because I had them for a long time. I think I got these when I was trying to decide what I was going to do for our wedding invitations, and so I have had this for a while. So it was nice to get it used up. But now that burlap is behind there, you can see my vellum a little bit better. And so I'm just ripping the vellum so that the edges aren't straight again and they're a little distressed. I didn't want to use the distress tool on that because it would probably crinkle the vellum, and that's not the look that I wanted. So in the P13 that you saw earlier, they have these little wood embellishments. And so I'm just getting all of this flower out that I'm going to lay kind of within Janet's cut file that she has. And I had thought about coloring them, but I really like this kind of wood element that it brings to the photo, and it kind of plays off the burlap. And so see, here's the pink colors, the pink flowers that kind of play off that pink polka dot. So I'm going to use this embroidery floss in this tan and kind of dark brown. And I love, like, I see all of you guys, you take the thread or the fibers and you kind of bunch them up and put them behind something. And I really like how that looks. And so I thought I would try it. I'm not so convinced that I can do it correctly. I don't know if I like it. Like, I fiddled with it for a while. I, wrapped it in circles. I tried to not make it look perfect. I just kind of placed it under this flower, and then I did the light tan, and then I thought, okay, well, let me add some of the darker brown. I'm not sure, guys, that I can pull off this thread thing that you guys do so well. I mean, it's on the layout. I left it, but I don't know if I love it. It's the first time I've done it, and so it's interesting. Like I said, I left it, but you guys make it look so good, and I don't know that I pulled that off, but I did leave it behind these florals here. I used the florals to help hold down the fibers or the thread so it's not like glued down. It just kind of is where it lays. And I used a smaller flower there as well. And so I also am going to stick some of the pieces of that burlap that came off. I'm going to stick behind there as well. That floral cluster that's up at the top of the photo, I really tried to use that. It came on and off the layout a bunch, but in the end it didn't stay. It was just not the right floral or it took up too much of your eye when you looked at the layout. I'm not sure. I just couldn't make it look good. And I liked this little signboard here, and I just stuck a flower on it. And that's pretty much the layout. I'm going to add some rest of these little florals in the cut file. And then I do add a title at the bottom that says smile. But thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit those buttons below. And if you want to be notified when I have a new video, just hit the little bell. Also, I'll put all the links below for the 31 days of Cutfiles information with MK and Janet. It was in August, so I'm behind, so I'm sure you guys know all the information, but it'll all be there. There was a playlist, there's a Facebook page, so all the goodies, and I will put that all down below, so make sure that you do check that out. And you saw I tried to put that floral cluster back on there. I really tried to get that on the layout, but it just didn't work. And here's where I use the Moroccan red to add some little dots around the clusters and around the title. But like I said, that's the layout. It was on a journey, and those threads and fibers, I'm not sure, guys. Tell me what you think. Everyone have a great day. Bye.